In the world of software development, there's something known as refactoring. To refactor code is essentially to simplify it, to achieve the same end, but to do so using an approach that is more efficient, perhaps more effective, and maybe even performs better. When you first learn to use Intuiface, certain approaches for solving problems come to mind, and you typically adopt those approaches. And then with maturity, as you develop your skills with Intuiface, you realize there are better ways to do it. You can refactor your own Intuiface design work. Maybe one of the areas most ripe for refactoring in Intuiface is how to work with content, how to work with media, how to incorporate them in your experience. On screen right now, I have one of the Van Gogh experiences we've posted in the marketplace, and on screen you can see a set of images representing Van Gogh artwork. It's arranged in an asset flow, which I can manipulate, right? So that's pretty straightforward. Well, if you're a brand new person to Intuiface, if you conceptualize how would I build that thing, what might occur to you is, okay, I'm going to take a bunch of images, I'm going to throw them into the canvas, turn them into an asset flow, and there you go. And that is absolutely correct. That is the way to do it. But there are better ways to do it. We can refactor that approach. Not taking these images from the content library, dragging them in and making a group collection, converting it into an asset flow. There's a better way, which is to connect them to an external data source. Now, why is that a better way? Before I show you how that's done, why is that a better way? Well, first of all, it makes it much more easy for you to maintain that project. If you want to change the media in the asset flow, with this approach of drag and drop, you're going to have to go back into Composer. Every time there's an image change, you have to go back into Composer, open the project, change the images, republish, and then redeploy. At some point, that experience running in the world, running on devices in the museum or wherever it may be, would need to be redeployed. That's a lot of inconvenient work. In addition, it could just be a real pain to maintain. You've got to remember where the images are. How did I structure the experience? Is it used in multiple places? It's just a pain for you to maintain, and potentially could be a pain for deployment for performance, because you're asking Intuiface to have all of these files in the project when it's deployed. So what does it mean to refactor this by externalizing the data, by taking these images, for example, and taking them outside of Intuiface? Well, the best example is the Intuiface Headless CMS. That's the best way to do it. It is a resource for containing media that is outside the experience. And what is inside the experience is essentially a template. Put on my glasses because I can't see. Let's stay in Composer and open up the scene structure panel and look in the upper left-hand corner. See that asset flow? It turns out that in this experience, that asset flow is not comprised of images I drag and dropped. If you take a look, those images are coming from a data stream. For those of you unfamiliar with Intuiface or just learning it, that's what you see represented there on the left. There's a data flow of images that is coming into the experience, represented there on the left, and it is being filtered into the asset flow. Where are those images coming from? From the Headless CMS. Let's take a look. So this is the Headless CMS. This is the Headless Content Management System. Headless means it is independent of the user interface. The only concern here is the data structure and the content. Doesn't matter how it looks inside the running experience. And in this particular Headless CMS base, if you look at the left, there's a variety of different categories for organizing my work. And this artwork node right here contains a set of pictures and of titles. The images are here. Somebody, doesn't have to be the person using Composer, some content management person opened up the Headless CMS in the cloud, designed a data structure for managing Van Gogh artwork, and then added images here as well as artwork titles. The experience, the asset flow, is pulling in these images at runtime, which means if I want to change the images, I don't have to open Composer, I don't have to republish, I don't have to redeploy, I just have to change the media here in the Headless CMS. The changes here are recognized by the running experience in real time. It synchronizes with the cloud. It gets the newest images, it pulls them in. That means it's much easier for you to build this experience. You don't have to build all these asset flows and drag in all these images. It means the experience is more efficient because it isn't deploying with all these images, making it extra heavy. And it also makes it very agile because you can easily change media in the cloud. You just pull up the headless CMS in a browser, change an image, publish it, and there you go. It's now accessible in your experience. So the next time you want to use a lot of media in your experience, build something very visual, and you get a sense that a lot of that media could be brought into the headless CMS, do it. It's a great refactoring approach. It's going to make your life a lot easier to maintain.